Pakistan said on Thursday that it had carried out strikes inside Iran. The military action came a day after Iranian forces attacked what they called militant camps inside Pakistan. The Pakistan Foreign Affairs Ministry said that the country's forces had conducted precision military strikes against what it called terrorist hideouts inside southeastern Iran. A number of terrorists were killed, according to the statement released by the Foreign Ministry. In fact, a senior Pakistani security official, speaking on the condition of anonymity to the New York Times, said that Pakistan had struck at least 7 camps used by Baluch separatists about 60 kilometers inside the Iran border. The official also said that Air Force fighter jets were used and so were drones by Pakistan in these retaliatory strikes. But just a day before that, on Wednesday, Iran claimed it had conducted an airstrike inside Baluchistan province in northwestern Pakistan. The Iranian government later said that the strike was deep inside Pakistani territory, and it showed that Iran was in a position to hit back forcefully at its enemies in any part of the world. It also came almost the same time as Iran claimed to have conducted strikes both in Iraq and in Syria. With these latest claims, Iran is showing a military prowess that it can use drones and missiles to target what it perceives as enemy activities even inside the territories of other countries. An emboldened Iran has been using its proxy forces like Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen against Israel and its allies since the war in Gaza began. Those actions, and now the attacks by Iran itself on other countries in the region, one being Pakistan, the other two being Iraq and Syria, these have now increased the risk that the war in the Middle East, which started off as a localized conflict between Israel and Hamas, could now enter a much more expanded regional phase. Iranian officials said that the attack in Pakistan had been aimed at terrorists who were threatening Iran, specifically a group called the Jaish al-Adl. But the Pakistani authorities reject that account. They say the deaths that were caused by the Iranian strikes on Wednesday included civilian casualties, and there were 2 children who were part of that strike. Pakistan denounced the Iranian strike as a blatant violation of international law. It also said in a statement put out Wednesday that it reserves the right to respond. But the history between both countries, between Tehran and Islamabad, has been beset with using proxy groups to target each other's civilians and each other's interests. Pakistan has for long maintained that Baluch separatists, who have waged a low-level insurgency in Baluchistan, that's in the northwestern part of Pakistan, for decades now, they have got hideouts across the border in Iran. Similarly, Iran has accused Pakistan of not doing enough to contain militants who have targeted Iranian security forces at the border or sometimes even inside Iranian territory. But beyond the diplomatic protests, the warnings, the recall of ambassadors, remember both Islamabad and Tehran have recalled their ambassadors who were in the respective stations. But right now, it is not immediately clear if Pakistan, which mind you is reeling from a political crisis, also an economic crisis, and it's got elections coming up in a couple of weeks' time, whether the country is ready or in a position to at all to enter into a long-drawn conflict with Iran. The country is currently governed by a caretaker government. That government, of course, does not have the mandate of the people, but it will certainly put pressure on any incoming government in Pakistan to teach Iran a lesson, that action be taken and be seen to be taken. If Pakistan does indeed hit back and retaliate in a way that Iran deems as aggressive and Iran deems as violative of its sovereignty, then Pakistan and Iran risk getting drawn into a much wider Middle East conflict. Now, Pakistan, despite being an Islamic nation, so far has avoided getting into these proxy battles, whether it is between Israel and Palestine, or even for that matter, between Saudi Arabia and Iran. These are the major fault lines in the Middle East. But here's the catch. If Pakistan does not retaliate and is not seen as retaliating, then it will appear weak yet again. And that, of course, is going to have immense consequences for its army, both the standing of the army and also the prestige of the armed forces. In a country where for more than half of its post-independence period for the last 75 years, the army has controlled the levers of power, not reacting to the Iranian strike and not reacting forcefully enough would be detrimental for the army. But the delicate position that Pakistan finds itself in is further exacerbated with a caretaker government that's in charge until the election on February 8th. With the Iranian strike inside Pakistani territory, Pakistan was already confronting troubled relations with three of its neighbors: India on the east, Iran on the west, and of course, Afghanistan in the north. While India for long has been an adversary to Pakistan, Islamabad's ties with Kabul have also soured in recent months. Pakistani officials have often accused the Afghan Taliban of providing shelter to terror groups, including their ally, the Pakistan Taliban, which has resulted in multiple terrorist attacks inside Pakistan. Add to that Pakistan's recent policy of expelling undocumented foreigners, many of them Afghans, more than 1 million of them, in fact, by most estimates. That has further strained ties between Islamabad and Kabul. Over the years, both Iran and Pakistan have accused each other of sheltering terrorists along their shared 1,000-kilometer border. Tehran points its finger specifically at a group called the Jaish al-Adl. It's a terror group that operates in southeastern Iran and on the border with Pakistan. Iran has accused the ISI of using this group for carrying out multiple attacks within Pakistani territory and also on Iranian territory. Established in 2012, this group emerged from the remnants of what was called Jundullah, a Sunni terrorist organization. Jundullah's influence significantly diminished after Iran captured and executed the leader of that group, Abdul Malik Rigi. This was back in 2010. And then they took this new form and this new name as Jaish al-Adl. Back in December of last year, the Jaish al-Adl attacked a police station in southeastern Iran. And in that attack, almost a dozen police officers were killed. Soon after that attack, Iranian officials blamed weak border control measures between Iran and Pakistan and claimed that these terrorists had actually crossed over from Pakistan to carry out the assault on the police station. Pakistan, in turn, has also accused Iran of supporting separatists in Baluchistan, the province in the northwest. Baluchistan is rich in oil, it's got other natural resources as well, critical minerals, for example. It's been the site of an insurgency for a number of decades now, from certainly the 1960s onwards. Pakistani officials cite the 2016 arrest of a retired Indian naval officer, Kulbhushan Jadhav, in Baluchistan as proof that India is using its spies, backed by Iran, in fomenting and supporting the Baluch insurgency. The naval officer in question is currently under trial in Pakistan, despite the long years that have gone by since his capture. The strike that happened on Tuesday was not the first time that Iranian forces had hit deep inside Pakistan, but the attack was the deepest that we've seen inside Pakistani territory. Back in 2021, Iran retrieved 2 soldiers of theirs who were being held hostage by the Jaish al-Adl inside Pakistani territory. In 2017, the Pakistani Air Force shot down an Iranian drone well inside Pakistani airspace. Now, this latest Iranian strike amid the heightened political tensions in Pakistan just before this election that is scheduled for the 8th of February, it was seemingly timed to take advantage of what has been a political turmoil and economic turmoil in Pakistan for the last many years now. Imran Khan, the former Prime Minister, who's in jail right now, has repeatedly accused the Pakistan military of being weak. He's accused them of political interference and of removing his government. He has kept the pressure on the military despite him being in jail for a number of months now. In fact, perhaps because of that, his supporters have unleashed a barrage of criticism aimed at the country's military. In fact, the military and the current establishment, the political establishment in Pakistan, have struggled for a number of months now to contain the raging popularity of the former Prime Minister. And this is despite the fact that Nawaz Sharif, who was also a former Prime Minister, who was in exile for the better part of the last 4 years, he has now come back and is poised to win the upcoming election in Pakistan. But the political fire burns on amongst Imran Khan's supporters. The timing of Iran's strike is extremely important and, from a Pakistani point of view, extremely unsettling, because this could potentially lead to a larger stalemate between Tehran and Islamabad. Also remember, given the political crisis, the economic crisis that Pakistan has seen over the last 3 years, it has pretty much exhausted the people, it has exhausted state institutions, including the army. So Iran, at this critical moment, appears to see Pakistan in weakness, both politically and economically, and it is exploiting this moment of weakness to the hilt. But whether or not Pakistan can contain the fallout of this latest crisis, whether or not it will retaliate in kind and be seen as doing so, that is going to be the biggest political test for any incoming prime minister.